General Hospital spoilers. Drew kills Monica, Portia, and Danny in a twist involving Scout. Port Charles has seen its fair share of tragedy, betrayal, and jaw-dropping plot twists, but nothing could prepare fans for the latest storyline about to tear through the canvas like a hurricane. The man once seen as a steady, dependable hero is about to walk a path drenched in blood, and it all centers around one little girl, Scout Cain. The calm, collected Drew Cain that viewers have come to know is about to unravel into someone unrecognizable, a man whose decisions are shaped by desperation, paranoia, and a dangerous new influence. Before the week is over, Monica Quartermaine, Portia Robinson, and Danny Morgan will all be dead, and the truth behind their murders will send shivers down every spine in Port Charles. The catalyst for this nightmare begins quietly, almost too quietly, in the Quartermaine mansion's drawing room. Monica notices subtle changes in Scout. She's withdrawn, avoiding school, and clutching a worn-out notebook like it's a lifeline. When Monica gently asks her about it, Scout refuses to answer and storms upstairs. This behavior doesn't sit well with Monica, who's raised enough Quartermaines to know when a child is in trouble. She calls Portia, hoping a doctor's perspective might ease her worries. Portia agrees to discreetly examine Scout, promising to keep everything confidential so as not to alarm Drew. What Monica and Portia don't realize is that Drew has already been watching Scout like a hawk, not out of fatherly love, but because he's convinced she's being used as a pawn in a conspiracy against him. Ever since returning from his last covert mission, Drew has been plagued by headaches, insomnia, and flashes of strange, fragmented memories. He's begun to believe there's a hidden faction in Port Charles manipulating everyone around him, and that Scout is their primary target. Viewers will recall that Drew spent years under Helena Cassadine's mind control, with implanted memories and programmed triggers. While he believed those conditioning techniques were long gone, recent events have begun to hint otherwise. Unbeknownst to Drew, a dormant program in his mind has been reactivated. A mysterious figure, whose identity will later rock the entire town, has been feeding Drew false intel through encrypted messages, convincing him that key people in his life are double agents plotting to take Scout away permanently. The enemy list they've planted in Drew's mind is chilling. Monica, posing as a loving grandmother but secretly working with the WSB, Portia, using her medical license to experiment on Scout, and Danny, his own stepson, supposedly recruited to keep tabs on her. The more Drew's paranoia builds, the more he becomes convinced that removing them is the only way to keep Scout safe. The first death comes in the form of tragedy at the Quartermaine estate. Monica, after speaking with Portia, decides to have Scout's notebook examined. Inside are drawings and fragmented sentences that seem to reference places Drew visited during his time with the Navy SEALs, places Scout could never have known about unless someone told her. As Monica flips through the pages in her study late at night, Drew enters silently, watching her from the shadows. "Where did you get that?" His voice is low, but there's a dangerous edge to it. Monica tries to explain she's only concerned, but Drew's mind twists her words. In his warped perception, Monica is gathering intel to hand Scout over to his enemies. Without hesitation, Drew lunges. The scene plays out with devastating finality, a vase shattering, Monica gasping, and Drew's hands tightening around her throat until the life drains from her eyes. He lays her gently on the sofa, whispering, "I'm sorry, but I had to protect her." To the outside world, Monica's death will be ruled a sudden cardiac arrest. But viewers will know the truth, and they'll see Drew calmly walking upstairs to check on a sleeping Scout, as if nothing happened. Portia becomes the next target after she visits the Quartermaine mansion the following afternoon. She's concerned that Monica didn't return her calls and decides to drop by in person. Drew, already on edge, greets her with a tense smile. Portia, unaware of the danger, tells Drew she's worried about Scout's mental well-being and that she needs to run a few psychological tests. This is all the confirmation Drew's altered mind needs. Portia's tests are just a cover for more sinister experiments. When Portia insists on speaking to Scout alone, Drew's demeanor shifts from strained politeness to cold hostility. He suggests they go to the boathouse to talk privately so Scout won't overhear. The confrontation escalates quickly. Portia refuses to back down, telling Drew she has a duty as a doctor to protect Scout. That's when Drew, his voice eerily calm, says, "I'm protecting her too, Portia. Just not in the way you think." Moments later, Portia's body sinks beneath the dark waters of the Quartermain boathouse pier, her final screams swallowed by the night air. Drew stands there, watching the ripples fade, convinced he's eliminated another threat to his daughter. Danny's involvement is the most heartbreaking twist of all. The teenage son of Jason Morgan has always looked out for Scout, treating her like a little sister. But when Danny notices Monica and Portia missing and Drew acting strangely, he starts asking questions. Late one night, Danny sneaks into Drew's office at Aurora Media to search for clues. He finds a folder filled with cryptic maps, photographs of Monica, Portia, and himself, and one chilling page labeled "Eliminate, Priority Level 1." Before Danny can react, Drew appears in the doorway. There's no shouting, no frantic chase, just Drew's quiet, measured voice. "I didn't want it to be you, Danny, but you left me no choice." In one swift move, Drew shoves Danny against the desk, snapping his neck. The sound is sickening, the silence afterward even worse. Drew cradles Danny's body briefly before laying him out on the floor, whispering, "You were supposed to protect her too." The most haunting part of this arc is that Scout has no idea what her father has done. Drew shields her from the news, claiming Monica, Portia, and Danny are away on urgent business and may not be back for a long time. But Scout begins to notice the inconsistencies: Monica's favorite scarf still draped over a chair, Danny's skateboard abandoned in the garage, Portia's medical bag left on the foyer table. At night, Scout hears her father pacing the halls, muttering about the mission and keeping her safe. She starts writing even more in her notebook, filling the pages with drawings of her father surrounded by shadowy figures. Here's where the storyline detonates into full-blown chaos. Scout's notebook is not the ramblings of a traumatized child. It's a coded diary she's been keeping for months at the request of a mysterious woman, Sam McCall. Sam has been quietly investigating Drew's erratic behavior ever since his last mission overseas. She suspected his old mind control programming might have resurfaced, but she couldn't prove it. Using Scout's natural curiosity, Sam turned the girl into her eyes and ears, instructing her to record anything unusual her father said or did. The information in Scout's notebook, locations, names, and behavior patterns, was meant to help Sam break through to Drew before it was too late. But when Drew found out Monica was reading it, his programming twisted the truth into a delusion of betrayal. In other words, the very tool designed to save him was the trigger that unleashed his killing spree. The storyline reaches its peak when Sam finally pieces together the evidence and storms into the Quartermain mansion to confront Drew. She finds Scout huddled on the stairs, clutching her notebook, tears streaming down her face. "Mom," Scout whispers, "Daddy's not Daddy anymore." Before Sam can respond, Drew steps out of the shadows, his voice eerily calm. "They made you do this, Sam. You turned her against me. But I can still fix it if you just let me finish the mission." The screen cuts to black as Drew reaches behind his back, the unmistakable sound of a gun being cocked echoing through the room.